Hey everyone, this is Roland Wright, back again with another Keyforge deck opening. This is going to be our second one in this display case opening. Our last one, Viviette the Master of Lard, was kind of a dud, so today I'm hoping that we can get probably a better deck here, a winner. So far, I think of the three decks I've opened, none of them have really blown me away. So I don't know. Yeah, let's hope for the best here. With this deck box. All right, so this deck is going to be Vanellope Brimming Web Dictator. It's going to be Mars, Untamed, and Dis. All right, Vanellope, what will you give me here? Let's go ahead and start this off with our discards. Arise, awesome. I love Arise. Arise can be a really good card. Choose a house, return each creature of that house from your discard pile to your hand, gain 1 chains. If there's a bunch of really good disc creatures in this deck, then Arise is really strong, but it can still be really strong with other houses as well, if they have like really good creature combinations. We're going to follow that up with Annihilation Ritual. This is a rare card. This is an Amber, it's an artifact. When a creature would enter a discard pile from play, it is purged instead. Whoa, that is not great with that is not great with Arise. Sorry, that is an interesting combo there. We're gonna follow that up with Lashbroken Dreams. This is an artifact as an action. Keys cost 3 additional amber during your opponent's next turn. Pretty solid artifact. It's pretty useful to kind of just stall the game. And even if they have, let's say 9 amber, you're forcing them to use an extra 3 amber because they don't get to choose not to forge a key. They have to forge a key. Follow that up with Charette. Play, capture 3 amber. Charette's a really solid disc creature. I like it a lot. 2 of them, very nice. Keep our opponent really kind of lacking. Whoa, 3 Charettes. Dang. 3 Charettes. Combine that with Lasher Broken. Lasher Broken Dreams isn't super solid with Charette. But yeah, that's not bad. Combine that with a Rise, and you can get some really good amber control against your opponent. Next up, we have Guardian Demon. This is an uncommon. 4 power. Play, fight, reap. Heal up to 2 damage from a creature, and then deal that amount of damage to another creature. The downside of this is if your opponent doesn't have any creatures in play, you have to hurt your own. The upside and downside is if you can't heal any damage from your creatures, then you can't do damage to those creatures. So this effect is iffy. I'm actually kind of surprised the Guardian Demon doesn't have Taunt. That would have been interesting to see. But Shaffles. This is an uncommon creature. I've never seen this one before. This is 2 power. At the end of your turn, your opponent loses 1. Whoa, that is really good. And that's a passive effect. So combine this with everything going on here. Wow, Shaffles. Very, very cool disc creature. We have 2 of them. Dang, this disc setup is really just anti-opponent's amber, man. That is brutal. We have Schuler. Play if your opponent has 4 or more amber, steal 1. Oh, that is ridiculous. God, our opponent is going to hate us. We have a Succubus. 3 power. During your draw card step, your opponent refills their hand to 1 less card. This is essentially the inverse of Mother, but it's at 3 power instead. I have a feeling your opponent's going to typically focus this card as best as they can. Caller of Subordination. This is a rare. This is an upgrade. You control this creature. So you attach this upgrade to any creature in play, your opponent's primarily, and then you just straight up get control of it. The downside here is I would really like it if this card says that creature is now considered dis, but it doesn't. So if you use this card on, let's say, your opponent's Sanctum creature, well, I don't have any Sanctum cards in this deck. So in order to use that creature, I have to spend an entire turn just to use 1 creature. It's not great in that aspect. What you really want to use this on are cards that have passive effects, like Succubus, where you might not ever activate the creature, but it's going to have a passive effect on it, and your opponent's going to probably want to kill it so that passive effect goes away, right? Or if your opponent has any of the 3 houses you're running, play this on those kind of creatures. So Caller Subordination, really cool card, really good rare. I'm assuming we're probably going to move on. Yeah, we're on Mars territory now. Ammonia Clouds. Play Deal 3 damage to each creature. So this is a lot like Poison Wave, which does 2 damage to each creature. This does 3, but it doesn't give you any amber. Interesting. I think combine this with Arise, and you get you can have a pretty solid combo there. Combine this with Annihilation Ritual, and you can be kind of a real jerk. Man, this deck looks like a complete, like, brutal bully. Follow this up with Key Abduction. This is 1 amber, uncommon. Play, return each Mars creature to its owner's hand. Then you may forge a key at 9 plus current cost. Oh, sorry, plus 9 the current cost, reduced by 1 for each card in your hand. So, let's say I have a hand of 6, and I play this card. I get to forge a key at 6 minus 5. 6 plus 9 minus 5. So it'd be 9 amber? No, it'd be 10 amber in that instance. Really solid. I like that a lot, actually. This is a pretty cool card. And then you can play all those Mars creatures down. So if we get a lot of Mars creatures in this deck, especially ones with play effects, this can be tremendously good. What rarities? That makes sense. Uncommon. All right. Phosphorus Stars. We've seen this card quite a few times now. Stun each non-Mars creature, gain 2 chains. It's a decent card. And it's a decent kind of board wipe-esque type of card. All right, next up we have another one. Not sure how I feel about having 2 of those in here. I'd rather have more Mars creatures. We have Soft Landing. The next creature or artifact you play this turn enters play ready. If we have Mars creatures and artifacts, that's good. Otherwise, it's almost worthless. So come on. There we go. So we're going to have some Mars creatures here. We get John Smith, 2 power, elusive. When he fights and reaps, I get to ready a non-agent Mars creature. Okay, that's not too bad. That's a pretty decent card. So a cool combo here is you could, let's say you put a Mars creature down, then you can soft landing, put John Smith down. He comes into play ready, reap with him, ready the other Mars creature, reap or fight, whatever you want to do with there. So that's a pretty decent combo. We're going to follow that up with Tunk. This is a pretty solid Mars creature to have here. 6 power. After you play another Mars creature, fully heal Tunk. What's really cool about him is you can combine that with Key Abduction, and that's pretty solid, right? Because then you're going to have a lot of Mars creatures in play you can play after this. So you can guarantee you have Mars creatures in play for the following turn, something like that. Ulik Megamouth. This is 3 power, fight, reap, use a friendly non-Mars creature. Pretty solid. So far from Dis, I don't really see any choices you would use that with, but it does work really well with Collar Subordination. So you can essentially trigger whatever you put the collar on with Ulik Megamouth. We have Vizima Think Drone. This is a 3 power reap. You may archive a friendly creature or artifact from play. That's not bad. Once again, you can trigger those. Play effects some more. So far, we're not seeing any particular play effects here from Mars. This is a decent 4 creature setup here. This does let you get Charette back, which is nice. It could let you get any of these things back if you're afraid of them. Schuler, especially here, to replay that play effect. Ooh, follow that up with the Marauder. He gets a +1 power, captures an amber for each friendly ready Mars creature, and then he gets +1 power for each amber on him. This is that's actually a really solid combo. Combine that with Soft Landing, Soft Landing and John Smith. I'm pretty happy with how this came out. Phosphorus Stars is more useful here. Key Abduction's looking really good. Yeah, I'm digging that Mars setup. Ooh, we have another one, the Xilix or Zix Dominator. This is a 9 power, 1 armor, taunt. It enters play stunned, so you can't use it essentially on the next turn. You have to spend a whole turn to get him ready. That's a great card, though. Especially, once again, combine that with John Smith, combine it with Soft Landing. It comes into play stunned. Comes into play stunned and exhausted, so you can unexhaust him to get rid of that stun immediately, so he is ready in the following turn. That 9 power, 1 armor taunt is just really deadly. Put him next to, obviously, Vizima, Megamouth, or John Smith, preferably. yeah, you're looking really good there. I'm super happy with how this Mars setup came out. Oh, wow, and we still have another Mars card. Jeez, Zizix the Many. Man, I've seen this guy so many times. Huh. 3 power fight Reap. You may reveal a creature from your hand. If you do, archive it, and he gets 3 power, +1 power counters on him. Great card. This card so far, this deck so far looks super creature dependent, and that makes Arise really just a phenomenal card here. Not a ton of play effects in this deck so far. So far, I'm seeing kind of just 2, and this one is eh. But yeah, I'm really digging how that looks. That looks really good with key abduction. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Let's follow this up with our Untamed cards. So we have Save the Pack. This is a common play. Destroy each damaged creature, gain a chain. I've seen this do some really cool things. Combine this with that Mars card we drew early on here, which is going to be Ammonia Clouds. Deal 3 damage to each creature. So even if your opponent somehow has a bunch of creatures still living, you can take them all out with Save the Pack. Love it. We have 2 of them. I'm not super sold on having 2 of these in this deck, but what can you do? I wish they did give it. If they gave an Amber, I'd be more happy with that. All right, so next we have Stampede. Play. If you use 3 or more creatures this turn, steal 2 Amber. So obviously this is going to really hinge on having 3 or more Untamed creatures. If so, then we're going to have a ton of creatures in this deck, man. That's crazy. A pretty solid card. It gives you an Amber by default, which is nice. Vigor. This gives you an Amber. This is an action. Heal up to 3 damage from a creature. If you heal 3 damage, gain an Amber. Love it. That's great. Good looking cards. We have another one. Love it. I have another one. Okay, now I'm starting to get a little concerned with our Untamed setup here. So we have 2 Save the Packs, a Stampede, and then 3 Vigors. I mean, I guess Vigor is fine with Zizix. If you get some power, you get good with Dominator. It's all right with Tunk. I mean, like, these creatures with low power numbers, though, they're most likely not going to survive that long. I guess this is good. Actually, I'm kind of happy that Vigor's in here. If you have Annihilation Ritual in play, if you have Annihilation Ritual in play, and you really don't want certain creatures to get purged, then Vigor is going to help you out there quite a bit. This is super hinging, though, on the rest of our Untamed cards here. So our next Untamed card is going to be a Ancient Bear. Assault 2, it's 5 power. Assault 2, Assault meaning that it does 2 damage before the attack even hits, which is really useful. 5 power is just really solid in general. So yeah, Vigor is definitely going to help out there. We have another Ancient Bear. Really nice. I'm glad to have 2 of those in here. Then we have a Dew Fairy. This is a 2 power. It has elusive. When it reaps, you gain an additional Amber. So essentially when you reap, you get 2 Amber. Really useful card. I'm really glad we have that Dominator in here, so you can play Dew Fairy right next to the Dominator, keep it around. We have Flaxia. This is an uncommon 4 power. When it comes into play, gain 2 Amber if you control more creatures than your opponent. That's okay. So we do have a ton of creatures in this deck, and combine that with a Rise, we should definitely have more creatures than our opponent. So okay, that's good. We have a lot of Amber generation from Untamed, by the way. A ton of Amber generation. It's almost ridiculous. Inka's Spire. This is an awesome rare to have. This is 1 power poison, so any damage it deals to a creature immediately destroys it. When it plays and reaps, I get to stun a creature. So the poison element here isn't phenomenal because it doesn't have Skirmish, and it has a reap effect. So ideally you should be reaping pretty much every turn. But still, it's more of, well, if you're going to attack this creature, you're going to lose whatever you attack it with. If you have like a really high value creature with like a ton of health or something like that, and I can just run Inka in it, take the bullet. But the play and reap effect here is just stunning the creature. That's what's really good. Playing it and stunning the creature, reaping every turn and just keeping creatures stunned. Really, really solid card. Like it a lot. Combine that with a Rise, and it's a huge pain in the butt. All right, so next up we have Hunting Witch, 2 power. Each time you play another creature, gain an Amber. Oh, man, that is really solid here. This is a passive effect. You get this in play. You follow it up with literally any of our other factions, which just have like 6 creatures in them or more. That's great. And that's it. That's the deck. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed looking at our good friend Vanellope, the Brimming Web Dictator. for the deck list, here you go. So if you want to pause the video and check out everything this deck list has to offer. So there you go. That was Vanellope. I'll see you guys in the next Keyforge deck opening, where we're going to open our third one of this display.